Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. I waited until the markets closed today because the Nikkei, which is the Tokyo Stock Exchange, actually found some gain in the last hour. So from 2:05 to 3 p.m., it added 103 points or 0.46%. And this is a great indication that the markets are maybe settling down. So Tokyo is sometimes reactive to what happens in New York the day before, but also it goes in the reverse way that Tokyo can also set the market sentiment or the mood for the opening of the New York Stock Exchange that follows it. So depending on how you look at it, whether the Nikkei is following the New York Exchange or that the New York Stock Exchange is following the Nikkei, they are definitely impacting each other's feel. So I'm just very happy to see that in Tokyo that we found some green. So let's hope that that is going to be the same indication for the stock exchange on tonight's, my tonight, your early morning opening. And if you don't know, I think this is interesting. So in Japan, the exchange, which opens a little bit, we have a little bit shorter hours. So they open at 9 o'clock. No, 9:30, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Yeah. They open at 9 o'clock as opposed to 9:30. So New York Stock Exchange opens 9:30 New York time, and in Japan it opens at 9, but it closes an hour earlier at 3. And we take a lunch break. 11:30 to 12:30, the market is closed. Surprising? I'm not surprised. I think it's a very healthy decision, actually. Okay, so let's move on to what is going on with the markets. So the World Economic Outlook was just released by the IMF, and they did downgrade the global growth, which is just one of many factors, actually. So they brought it down 0.2%. So the world growth is expected to be somewhere around 3.7%. The United States is expected to grow at 2.9%, which is actually much stronger than it has been in the past. But, we have the rising interest rates, which is definitely there to curb inflation. We have some global trade tensions that are in this report. That disruption of money flow can have a huge effect on global growth. There's currency volatility. And this report, it's a mega report. There's 215 pages. However, there is a 3-page summary out there. And that is something that I read. And you can see that the finance ministers and central bankers, which make up 189 member countries, they also feel that the investors are being a little complacent right now. So even though the stock market has hit record highs in the United States, it shouldn't be a huge surprise that there is a bit of an adjustment. But that correction, of course, it makes everybody nervous because you don't know how far that correction will go. And as we know, the crypto space has seen its correction after its highs in December. And so, as everybody is always reminding us, these cycles have their highs and their lows, and that never changes. So there are more factors than just fear and greed, and it's never a simple answer. It's never just because of one answer. It's usually a combination of many things. And in addition to the IMF adjusting their growth figures, this is also something that probably played into some of the weakness in crypto. So according to the new release by the International Monetary Fund, and this is Christine Lagarde, of course, she is the kind of face of the IMF, that the rapid growth in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies would lead to new vulnerabilities in the international financial system as banks and financial institutions seek to adjust? Well, yes, they will have to adjust. They will adjust. And in that adjustment period, I think you will see some fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And, that is to be expected. So I think there is that old saying that just says, keep calm. I think it really applies in today's market situation. If we go to CNBC, look at this. So billionaire brokerage CEO, his name is Tom Peterfy. He is the founder of Interactive Brokers. Check this out. So he says that his firm's customers, just his firm's customers, have more than $50 billion idle in cash in their accounts, which is a historic high. This enormous pile of cash is just waiting to come back into the market. So again, the cycles go up and the cycles go down and the cycles come back up again. Okay. Maybe these headlines also had you a little confused or scratching your head as to what is going on. If you're an XRP holder, you know that Banco Santander settled on Ripple for its settlements. And then we see in the news again, almost same day, Santander goes live on Swift GPI in 4 countries and more coming. And everyone's like, well, what's going on? I thought they were going with Ripple and now they say they're going with Swift. Well, remember, and I have been on this story for just 3 days, and I think, it's enough is enough, but I want to make one more comment because we really won't know until Sibos, which happens in Australia in 2 weeks. And so we did find, in that document that I found for the Japanese banks, and Sam took a look at it, there is definitely 3 options for the banks who are implementing the Swift GPI. And one of those options provides a third-party application. And as we all agree, we don't know who or how many third-party applications are going to be there, but there is a third-party application. So my take on this is that, in listening to all of course, some of the comments going on in the XRP community, is that in that third-party application, it's very possible that Ripple will be the choice or one of the choices to use in that cross-border settlement. So I don't think it's just black or white, yes or no, left or right. I think there is going to be options because, as you remember, this is now a transformation for Swift. It's not a closed in-house solution anymore. They have opened up the platform. That is for sure. So as Dilip says, just cool your jets and we will find out soon. And I think that it's all going to, you can use the word integrate, you can use the word partnership, you can use the word joint venture, you can use the word working with. I think all of these fintechs that can provide a good end use customer experience that's positive is going to be used now. So I'm just feeling positive, actually. I don't feel confused at all. And I'm very much looking forward to the announcements that come out at Sibos. Okay. Let's take a look quickly at the headline stories in Japan, just because I just think we should do that. So here we have a story about Coinbase, and they are coming to Japan. And it looks like their application got maybe bumped up out of the 160 some applications that are in the stack, because there is some talk about, I think Coinbase is going to operate very shortly here in Japan. This is Pundi X. They have the new blockchain-based phone, which could be interesting. This article here is about Dragonfly Capital. There is $100 million fund that has been created through different investors, and it's going to be money that's applied to new cryptocurrency projects. This is a Bitcoin price article. This is an article about, this is a good article for XRP holders. This is about XRP being added to Mercado Bitcoin, which is Brazil's largest exchange. Then we have a story about Bitcoin price again. We have this is another recap story on the Dragonfly. This is 0x. 0x has been added to Coinbase, and it's been added to Coinbase Pro. So when you hear the word Coinbase Pro, that is for the individual investors. And when you hear Coinbase Prime, that is the platform for the financial institutions. And then we come down here. This is another, this is actually, this is one of those stories that make you shake your head. This is Professor Nouriel, what's his name? Rubini. And he is not a fan of crypto at all. In fact, he goes on to say something like that cryptocurrency and Bitcoin are the mother and father of all scams. Well, remember that back in the 90s, 94 and 95, when the boom of internet companies first came onto the scene, there were so many people that said, these companies like Dell and AOL and Microsoft and Netscape, they are scams. This is just what are you thinking? And it turns out that some of the same people that were saying that those internet companies were scams were the ones that did the heaviest investing. So I just don't believe anybody anymore. I think actually there is truth behind some of these people who down talk the space to keep the price suppressed so that they can buy. I mean, I just don't think it's, we saw it happen in the 90s. So I just can easily imagine it's happening again now. Okay, this is, let's see, this one is a story about Bitfinex. They actually paused their deposits. It's a little bit of a FUD story in regards to Tether. So that U.S. Tether, I think, is going to have to, I don't know. I wish we could see some neutral third-party audits on that. Ravencoin is seeing a huge surge in price because they're being added to Binance. This is the Malta Blockchain Summit. It occurs on November 1st and 2nd. That'll be interesting just because Malta is so crypto friendly now. This is about Harvard, Stanford, MIT. They are all investing into crypto funds. This is the story that I'm going to talk about this weekend. There is a research effort going on out of the People's Bank of China, and they are looking at stablecoins. I think, again, my personal opinion here, that the stablecoin story is going to be huge from this fall into the beginning of 2019. We're going to really see an explosive growth of stablecoins. So I'm hoping on Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to bring you a more in-depth video on stablecoins. This is another Bitcoin story, and then the Pundi X phone again. What do we have here? This is another recap on XRP and Mercado. This is Liquid, which has just been released for Bitcoin. This is interesting. This is the Binance coin is now being accepted on Propi. Propi is an international real estate market, global real estate for really high-end properties in the big cities like Dubai and London and Tokyo, San Francisco. And I did a video on this a few months back because when they incorporated Bitcoin onto the platform for payment, it was kind of a big story. And the first property, I think, to be listed for that was a huge piece of undeveloped property in Silicon Valley that was, yeah, I don't remember the selling price, but it was for a tremendous amount of money. And then we have a pricing article of what's going on with Ethereum. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the news and the headlines from Japan. Okay, so let's get into the fluff. We're talking about markets today. So let's take a look at this. If you can hear this, this is probably a very familiar sound to you. This is the New York Stock Exchange. This is the closing bell. And there we go. Yeah, I don't know. Does he have a set amount of seconds that he holds that down for? Maybe. Maybe. I'm not sure. Like, okay, and then it's a 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's the closing bell in New York. Now, here is the closing bell in Tokyo. This happens to be the closing on the last day of trading for 2017. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Why 5? Well, 5 is a lucky number, and it's lucky in many ways. There's a lucky coin, Go coin, that is lucky. But one thing you'll never find in Japan is the use of 4. 4 is a very unlucky number. It has one of the pronunciations of she, and it's she is associated with death. And then the biggest unlucky number is 49, which is she knew, which means die. So, yeah, so if you're ever going to do anything in Japan, don't do it with the number 49 or 4. And for 4, you'll never see packages of gifts packaged in 4s. You'll never see money as a gift in a denomination of 4. So totally stay away from 4. All right. 5 is the best. 3, 5, 7, 9. No, not 9. 3, 5, 7. Okay. Yeah. But stay away from 4. All right, everybody. That's your video for today. So please take care, and sayonara for now. Bye-bye.